Hello. Welcome to Back to Basics Yoga, an 8-part series on some basic yoga poses where we explore different modifications, getting the yoga pose, finding the version that fits your body. Today we're looking at Warrior 1. Now there are a series of warrior poses, 3 as a matter of fact. Today we're looking at only Warrior 1 and its variations. Now the series of warrior poses are to ignite in you the spirit of the warrior, find strength, find courage, but also to harness that strength, to be brave, to see compassion and integrity in all your actions, to meet with your adversary in a loving state of mind. So with that in mind, let's get started. I've got a yoga block. You can choose to use a yoga block or not. We will continue to modify. We're also going to be using the 2 poses, mountain pose and forward fold today, building on what we've already learned in the first 2 parts. I have a blanket rolled up underneath my hips. I like to have my hips higher than my knees, helps to open up the hips just a little bit and help me sit a bit taller. It's optional. Modify to fit your body. Sitting tall. Take a moment to just relax and settle in, just a breath or 2. Always beginning a yoga practice with seated centering, just to collect your mind, collect your thoughts, and tune into your body, your breath. Starting here with the mind-body-breath connection. If you feel comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. If you do not want to close your eyes, just bring your gaze downward so you're not distracted by your surroundings. And just breathe for a moment. Sit and breathe. Your next breath in, sweep your arms up. Bring your hands together overhead, and as your palms come together, exhale, let your hands float down. Pausing, half a second or so with hands in front of the heart. And repeat. Breath in, arms sweep up, hands come together, and float down with the breath out. Pausing, half a second or so, right in front of the heart, just to make that connection. Mind, body, breath, and the heart of a warrior. Let's take another breath. Move your arms with your breath. Linger here a little bit longer with hands in front of the heart. Release your hands. Open your eyes if they happen to be closed. Today we're going to start in table pose. We've got to do a little bit of warming up through the spine today because warrior pose does have a little bit of a back bend. So with all things yoga, with all things physical activity, we need to make sure we're warmed up properly and never causing pain. All right, toes curled under for stability here. Spread your fingers so you get a good connection between the palms and your mat and your fingertips and the mat. Soften through the shoulders, feel your shoulder blades sliding in towards the spine, and you want to feel like your back is a table back, just like the pose suggests, table pose. Now moving into cow pose. Inhale, arch the lower back, lift the eyes, look forward, pull your chin away from your chest, creating a big curve in the spine here. Now exhale, draw your belly button in towards the spine, tuck your chin towards your chest, spread your shoulder blades wide. Really push your hands into the mat, feel the stretch in the back now. The back side of the body is long. Inhale, lift the eyes, look forward, chin pulls away from the chest, tailbone turns up, deep curve in the lower back, cow pose. Front of the body is really long. Exhale, tucking the chin, scooping tailbone under, pulling the belly button in towards the spine. Let's do that for 2 more breaths. Move with your own breath. Take your time. Linger with those long, slow breaths. They feel so good. Now come back to your neutral table position. Eyes looking straight down, ears in line with the shoulders, soft heart always. Now uncurl your toes, press the tops of your feet into the mat and push back. Push your hips back to your heels. Come as low as you can. If this is too much pressure on your knees, you can go ahead and take your rolled up blanket and place it behind your calves so you're kind of sitting on your rolled up blanket. Now stack fist on top of fist, or you can reach for your yoga block and let your forehead rest on your hands, rest on your yoga block. Take a moment here just to settle into your hips. Breathe. Now flatten one hand, stack fist on top of the flat hand, or adjust the height of your yoga block, bring it a little bit lower. So these are variations of child's pose. You do one more variation. Now place your hands flat, hand on top of hand, and again, adjust the height of your yoga block, or now move your yoga block and come down onto your hands. One hand stacked on top of the other. Rest your forehead, the high part of your forehead, near your hairline, on your hands. Want to create some rounding through the back here. So child's pose is called child's pose because as you are folded over your bent knees, it mimics the position, the roundedness of an infant spine while the baby is still in the womb. That's how it gets its name of child's pose. If you're able to, feel free here to bring your forehead all the way down to the mat and bring your arms to your sides so your hands are turned up, backs of the hands resting on the floor beside your ankles. This is the full version of child's pose. You do the modification that suits you. Purpose here is just warming up the spine. Breathe into the back of the body. Feel the lungs, the back of the rib cage expanding. With the compression through the front side of the body, your breath has to work the way to the back of the body. Now slowly bring yourself back up to table pose. So hands place first, then push up. Make your way to table. Now keep the tops of the feet resting on the mat. Bring your left hand towards the left corner of the mat. Now anchor the left hand. So spread your fingers, anchor the palm of the hand on the mat, and just lean back. Push your right hip off to the right, leaning back. Come down onto your right forearm and elbow for support. Get a good stretch through the whole left side of the body, from the tip of your left finger all the way to your left hip. The longer and more open the upper body is, back, rib cage, sides of the body, the more movement and freedom you'll have in your warrior pose. Let your breath flow, always aware of when you begin to hold your breath and reconnect. Come back to table. Wrists under the shoulders, always coming back to the beginning before you move to the next thing. Right hand comes to the right corner of the mat. Push back, left hip pushes back to the left. Come down onto your left forearm and elbow for support.
Right hand is anchored. Try not to let your right hand slide towards you, but find the sweet spot where your hips are closer towards your heels and you're getting the long stretch on the right side of the body this time. Breathe through the stretch. Just fill the space in your body with your breath. Come back to table. Wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Curl the toes under now. Getting ready to rise up to a downward dog. Just a brief transition here. Take a breath in. Wait for the exhalation. Use the exhalation to ground down through the hands, the balls of the toes, lift the hips up, push back towards your heels. Try not to adjust the placement of your feet here. Keep a little softness in the knees if your back of your legs are feeling tight. We'll take one breath. Now slowly, just walk your feet towards your hands. Come up onto your fingers as your feet get closer towards your fingertips. Knees bent, coming into a forward fold. Relax your neck, let your head dangle. So use the weight of your head here. Softness in the back of the knees. We're not concerned about the stretch in the back of the legs just yet. We're going to save that for the next forward fold. Just relax your neck, let your head feel heavy. Soften through the jaw. And just gently turn your head from side to side as if you were saying no. Remember, warming up the spine from the tailbone all the way to the base of the skull. Now just gently pull your chin away from your chest and then tuck your chin as if you're saying yes. Just slowly. Avoid compressing the back of the neck too much. Think of aligning your ears and shoulders. Then some circles. Circles with the chin. Let's do 3 in each direction. Slow, deliberate movement, exploratory. As if you're a soldier doing a recce, a reconnaissance trip. Do some reconnaissance with your body here. Get a sense of how you're feeling and then relax. Whew. Now lift your eyes, look beyond the top edge of your mat. Feel your rib cage beginning to pull away from your thighs. Bend your knees, sink your weight into your heels. Bring your hands up onto your knees one at a time. Push your hands into your knees, pull your rib cage away from your thighs, coming into a supported chair pose. Pull the fronts of the shoulders back, slide your shoulder blades in towards your spine, bring your gaze forward. Keep your weight in the heel of your hands and in your heels. Reconnect to your breath. Soles of the feet press into the floor, ready to sweep all the way up now. So inhale, sweep out or sweep forward, whatever feels right to you. And as you exhale, bring your arms to your sides, coming into a full mountain pose. Palms of the hands turn forward. Shoulders heavy. Taking a breath. Bring your hands to your hips. You're going to step the right foot back. We've done this version of Warrior One a few times already in this basics series. With the right foot pressing down, turn your right toes out just slightly so your toes are pointing out towards the right edge of your mat. You want to sense that your hips are forward and your shoulders are forward, square to the front of your mat. Warrior One is a forward-facing pose. Push down with your right heel to lengthen through the back of the right knee as much as possible. Left knee is soft.
You want your knee pointing in the same direction as your left toes. Now keep your gaze straight ahead. Relax through the shoulders. Key here, you need to keep the shoulders down away from the ears. Now release your hands. Let's sweep the arms out to the side. This will help keep the shoulders heavy. So arms sweep out to the side. Think of your thumbs going first. And bring the arms up, turning the palms in, but pay special attention to your shoulders. Keep the shoulders down away from the ears. Fingertips reaching up towards the ceiling. Body weight is grounded here. Now challenge yourself slightly by bringing your gaze upwards to the corner in front of you where the wall meets the ceiling. You should now be able to see your arms out of the corner of your eyes. Minimize the bend in your elbows. Keep your shoulder blades. Now you can feel them pulling in towards your spine, that your gaze is going upwards. You've got more room now to open the heart in the front of the body. Pause here. Just feel your warrior pose. This is the most basic of warrior poses. You can bring your gaze higher up if you choose. We're going to do another version. Don't you worry, we'll be doing several versions as a matter of fact. But just get a sense of the steadiness, the steadfastness of your warrior one. Take a breath. As you exhale, let your arms sweep down. Step your right foot forward. Hands to your hips. Left foot steps back. Regular walking steps. Step your left foot back slightly towards the left side of your mat. Turn your left toes out a tiny little bit so they're pointing more towards the left side of your mat. Hips square, shoulders square, forward facing pose. Push left heel down, lengthen the back of the left knee as much as possible. Take a look down at your right knee, bend your right knee. You can still see all of your toes and your right knee is pointing in the same direction as your toes. You can feel the squareness of your hips and shoulders, right? Because your hands are on your hips, you can feel that. Now keep that. Relax the shoulders. Let your shoulders drop down from your ears. And release your arms. Sweeping the arms out to the sides, thumbs going first, so thumbs rise up first. Got your gaze straight ahead. Turn your palms in. Just enough energy in the hands. Your palms are open. Your fingers are spread like rays of sunshine. But you're not shaking. You found the perfect spot. Now lift your gaze slightly to the corner where the wall meets the ceiling. Let your shoulder blades fall in towards your spine and feel your heart open. The heart of a warrior. Steady, integrity, compassion, strength from within. Steady yourself with your breath. One more breath. As you exhale, release your arms and step your left foot forward. Standing in mountain pose, readjust through the shoulders, and palms turn forward, and feel the openness through the front of the body. Now challenging just a little bit more here. We're going to step the right foot back a little farther. So step your right foot back a little farther than a regular step. Push down onto the heel so you can still get your heel connected to your yoga mat. Right toes turned out slightly, still square. Forward facing pose, remember. Now we need a little more curve in the lower back here. As you soften your left knee, look down. Knee in line with your toes, you can still see all of your toes. Gaze forward. Shoulders square, hips square. Bring your gaze up now first. Now sweep the arms up. You can sweep them up from the side or forwards and up. Now really push with the right heel. Ground down through the right heel. Soften into your left knee. Now the full expression of the historical Warrior One pose is to bring the gaze even higher, straight up, looking between your hands. You gaze where you feel comfortable. Not too much compression in the back of the neck. Soften through the shoulders. Feel your shoulder blades slide in toward your spine. Now bring the palms together overhead. Fold your fingers together. Index fingers, the tips touch and point upwards. Thumbs touch side by side and point behind you. Think of a warrior rising up from the earth to face their foe. This is the full expression of warrior pose. Now take a quick note of which baby finger you have on the outside. So it's important to bring the gaze upwards so that the hands can come together at the full length of the arms. Take a breath. As you inhale, let your hands release, just bringing your arms wide. As you exhale, tuck your chin, look straight ahead. Pause here. With your next breath out, sweep your arms down. Bring your hands all the way down. Fingertips to the mat, step your right foot forward. Take a breath in, lift the eyes, look forward beyond the top edge of your mat. As you exhale, fold. Fold over your thighs, relax your neck. Inhale. Lift your eyes, look beyond the top edge of your mat. Step your left foot back now. A little farther back, pushing down onto your left heel. Pause. You can feel the warrior stance here. Push down. Left heel stays grounded, right knee is soft. One at a time, bring your hands up onto your right knee. Use your hands to push your rib cage away from your thighs, stacking shoulders over top of hips. Now adjust your stance. If you can't get your left heel to the mat, you need to bring your foot a little bit closer. We've come into this in a slightly different way. Just trying to keep you on your toes, keep your focus. Back of the left knee is long, right knee is soft. If you need to, check down. Make sure your right knee is pointing in the same direction as your toes. Soften through the shoulders. Feel the heart beginning to open already. You're square to the front of the mat. Inhale, arms sweep up. Bring your gaze up. Pause. Settle in. Ground down through your feet. Feel steady. Then bring the gaze higher. Look up to the ceiling now. Feel your head kind of getting out of the way so you can come to your warrior stance fully and completely. Now bring the palms together. Remember which pinky was on the outside before. You want to put the other pinky on the outside this time. Index fingers pressing together, reaching for the ceiling. Thumbs side by side, pointing behind you. Think of Charlie's Angels. Relax as you exhale. Feel the shoulders soften, shoulder blades sliding in towards the spine, the full length of the front of the body here. Curve in the upper back. Strength. Inhale, release the hands, just let your hands feel wide. And as you exhale, drop your chin towards your chest so you're looking straight ahead. Pause for another breath. Next breath out, hands sweep down to the mat. Just go slowly, sweeping down, sweeping down. Fingertips to the mat. Step your left foot forward. Side by side here. Take a breath in, lift your eyes, look forward. As you exhale, fold. Now with your forward fold here, if you choose, you can go ahead and stretch out the backs of the legs by lifting the hips up towards the ceiling ever so slightly, just to increase the intensity. Remember, you're in charge of your body. You're in charge of how much intensity there needs to be in your yoga practice. That's completely up to you. Modify as you need to. Do what your body needs to do, not what your head thinks you should do. Bend your knees, plant your hands. Let's take a downward dog. So walk your feet back to downward dog. Take a breath. Lift your heels, bend your knees, walk your feet towards your hands. Take as many steps as you need to get there. It's kind of nice to stretch out the back of the legs with every single step. Feel the connection. Heel the toe with the sole of each foot with each step. Now bend the knees. Lots of softness in the knees here. Feel steady on your feet, stable so your hands are free. Now inhale, lift up. Come all the way up, bring your gaze straight ahead. And as you exhale, release your arms. Find your mountain pose, legs strong. Belly button pulling in towards the spine, rib cage aligned with the hips, fronts of the shoulders open, shoulder blades pulling in towards the spine, palms turned forward. Ears in line with the shoulders, crown of the head reaching upwards. Breathe. Nothing too intense with your mountain pose, but taking a bit of a break here. Now inhale, sweep the arms up. As you exhale, turn the palms out, reach behind you. Let your fingers weave together. You can keep the palms open, so the heels of the hands are not pressing together. Now roll the fronts of the shoulders back. Feel your thumbs pressing into your sacrum here. Starting to open up through the fronts of the shoulders. And now reach your hands down towards your heels. Now bring your gaze up, just let your eyes fall where they want to fall. So with a little openness through the front of the body, you get a little more reach with your hands, reaching down towards your heels. You might even feel your hands against the back of your thighs. Good stretch here across the fronts of the shoulders. And release the hands. Sweep the arms up. Feel them just float up. And then exhale, releasing the arms, bringing your gaze straight ahead. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Bend your knees on the way down. Bring your fingertips to the mat. Step your left foot back this time. A longer step, land on the ball of your left big toe. So it's up to you how wide the stance is here. We're going to take this to another version of warrior. Warrior one. So right knee is soft. Push down with the ball of the left big toe and pull forward. Really engage the legs. You want to feel a scissoring action with your legs. Now one at a time, bring your hands onto your right thigh and slowly press yourself up. Stacking shoulders over top of hips. Find your focal point in front of you, something to look at to help you stay steady. Now, arms at your sides, fronts of the shoulders rolled back, shoulder blades sliding down towards your hips, right? Shoulders are heavy. Use the weight of your arms to pull your shoulders down away from your ears. Open up through the back of the left knee, so stretching through the back of the left knee and softening into the right. Now inhale, sweeping the arms up. You want to feel like wrists are over top of the shoulders. Now bring your gaze up, look to the corner in front of you. Feel the curve increasing in the spine. Right? The amount of curve in the spine, completely up to you. Now think of reaching your hands to the corner behind you where the wall meets the ceiling. Just reaching back, lengthening through the front of the body a little bit more, coming into crescent warrior, bigger version of warrior one. But you can see the crescent moon shape from the left heel through the spine all the way to the fingertips. Softness through the jaw. Steadiness through the body. It's a bit of a bigger back bend, so it is a little bit scary here. Why are back bends so scary? Well, because you have to open your heart. That takes true strength, true courage. Definitely makes you a warrior. Take a breath, and as you exhale, now slowly fold forward. Fold forward, all the way down, fingertips to the mat. Pivot on the ball of your left big toe. Plant your heel. Walk your hands to the center. So you're turning to the side of your mat now. At the same time, pivot on your right heel. So your right toes and left toes are now pointing in the same direction, towards the left side of your mat. Knees bent enough that you've got your fingertips to the mat, or you can reach for your yoga block. You've got a wide stance, wide forward fold here. As always, a little softness in the back of the knees. Take a breath. Lengthen through the spine, crown of the head reaching forward. Eyes looking down at the floor, not at your fingertips. With your exhalation, deepen your forward fold by simply bending at the hips rather than rounding through the spine. Soften through the elbows. You want to feel like your face is coming towards the mat rather than towards your heels. Now relax your neck. Now if there's no intensity here in the back of the legs, whatever position you're in, think of lifting your hips up towards the ceiling to lengthen through the back of the legs a little bit more. Breathe. As you inhale, lift your eyes, look down between your hands, not at your hands. Feel yourself coming out of your forward fold slightly, feeling long through the tailbone, crown of the head. Now walk your hands towards your left foot. So now we're walking towards the back of the mat. Pivot on your right big toe, pivot on your left heel. So yeah, now we're ready to do crescent warrior in the other direction. So press into the mat with the ball of the right big toe, pull forward. Get the scissoring action in your legs so your legs are strong and steady, grounded to the mat. One at a time, hands come onto your left knee. Left knee is pointing into the same direction as your left toes. Use your hands to press into your thigh, pulling your rib cage away from your left thigh, stacking shoulders over top of hips, bringing your gaze straight ahead. Finding something to hold your gaze, arms at your sides. Adjust through the shoulders. Shoulders slide down away from the ears, shoulder blades sliding down your back towards your hips. Using the weight of your arms to maximize the space between your ears and your shoulders. Lengthen through the back of the right knee, soften into the left. You feel a long stretch on the front of the right hip here. Inhale, sweeping up. As you exhale, dedicate that exhalation to the shoulders. Let the shoulders slide down. Soften with your breath. Now lift your gaze. You choose how high. Up the wall, all the way to the corner, maybe even to the ceiling. Now think of reaching your hands to the corner behind you, where your eyes were looking just a moment ago. Coming into crescent warrior. Feeling the long line, the long C shape, the curve from your right heel up the back of your right leg, the whole back side of your body to your fingertips. Big breath in. As you exhale, bring your gaze forward first. Feel the curve beginning to release out of the spine, out of the back of the body. And slowly bringing your hands all the way down to the mat. Pivot on your right big toe, plant your heel. Pivot on your left heel. Walk your hands to the center of the mat. Here we are again in a wide leg forward fold. Take a breath. And as you exhale, soften at the elbows. Bow. Now use your soles of the feet to press into the mat. Lift your hips up slightly towards the ceiling. Feel the intensity in the back of the legs, the ankles in particular when the feet are wide. Now if you can, this is up to you, you can bring your hands to your ankles or just bring your hands wide. So rather than your hands being underneath your head, think of bringing your hands wide. You can choose to reach for your ankles. That is completely up to you. Now think of reaching the crown of the head straight down towards the mat. Lengthen through the upper body. Make this a little more active through the upper body rather than just dangling in your wide-legged forward fold. Now as the crown of the head reaches down, think of sliding the shoulder blades in towards the spine. So now your hands feel lighter. You've engaged through the shoulders without putting any pressure on the wrists or fingertips. Use the strength in the back of the body here. Now bring your right hand over to the left side and just reach past your left hand. Get a long stretch through the right side of the body. You can even give your right hip a little tug back to increase the intensity if you choose. Breathe. Remember, don't hold your breath. Your body needs your breath. And release. Bring your right hand back to the right. Remember, hands are wide, almost as wide as your feet. Now take your left hand, move it over to the right, and reach past your right hand. Long stretch through the left side this time. Giving your left hip a little pull back if you choose. Increase the intensity. Release. Now take a breath. Crown of the head reaching down. And as you exhale, just see if there's any room to go deeper into your forward fold now that you've been here for a breath or two.
walking your hands towards your right foot. Pivot onto the ball of your left big toe. Pivot on your right heel. Now wiggle your right foot out to the right side of the mat. Bring your right hand to the inside of your right foot. Left hand. Getting ready for a downward dog here. All set up. And step back. Right foot steps back. Downward dog. Lift your heels. Bring your knees all the way down to the mat. Uncurl your toes. Inhale, lift your eyes, look forward. Create some curve in the spine. Exhale, round through the back. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Belly button pulls in. Inhale, lift your eyes, look forward. Chin pulls away from the chest, coming to cow pose. Exhale, rounding through the back, chin to chest, cat pose. Let's do that 2 more times. Move with your own breath. Take your time. Linger with your breath. Our days are so busy. It's important to take the time to breathe. Coming back to table pose. Moving into a child's pose now, we're going to widen the knees. Different version. Bring the big toes in together to touch. You'll be able to sink your hips to your heels a little bit more. If this is too much pressure on your knees, once again, place your rolled up blanket on the back of your thighs and then sink. It will take some of the pressure off your knees. Sorry, back of your calves. Sink back. Now relax the arms. You can stack hand on top of hand. You can go ahead and reach for your yoga block and place it under your forehead. But it's really important here to make sure there is support under the forehead. So you can relax through the spine, the shoulders. Just sink into the mat with your breath for 2 full breaths. Press up. Swing your legs round to the top of the mat. Legs straight out in front. Now pull your thighs and your buttocks out from underneath you so you can sit tall. If you feel like you're rolling back and you've got some roundedness happening through the lower back, go ahead and sit on your yoga block or sit on your rolled up blanket. That will help you sit tall. Spread your toes. Ground down through the heels, but make sure the backs of the calves are also grounded. Backs of the thighs, grounded. So there's no bend in the knees, but at the same time, your heels are still grounded. Right? If you're grounding your legs and your heels pop up, disconnect from the mat, you're overextending, hyperextending your knee joint. We don't want to do that. We want to keep the knees safe. Safety is our main concern. All right, so sitting tall. Bring your gaze straight ahead. Keep the legs active. Pause here, relax the shoulders. We're not doing a forward fold here, but we're building on a little more strength. So sweeping the arms up with your breath. Pause at the halfway mark. Energy in the hands. Try not to overextend your fingers, but spread your fingers and open through the palms. Thumbs pointing up towards the ceiling. Now focus on the shoulders. Keep the shoulders heavy. Anchor through the backs of the legs. And just slowly begin to bring your arms overhead. Keep the shoulders heavy. Try not to let the shoulders squeeze up towards the ears.
Think of bringing wrists in line with the shoulders as much as possible. This takes a lot of strength, a lot of core work here. Really ground down through the back of the legs. Remember to keep the heels grounded as well. The more connected you are to your yoga mat, the stronger you are. Soften through the shoulders. Try not to let the tension build. Breathe through the tension. You can feel the shake and the tremor building strength throughout the whole body, that energy vibrating through you. The heart of the warrior bursting open, full of compassion, integrity. Take a breath. As you exhale, just sweep your hands round. Bring your fingertips to the mat beside you. Stay high on your fingertips. Now soften through the legs. Relax through the legs, but keep your toes pointing upwards. Keep the spine long. Try not to collapse through the rib cage. Use your fingertips on the mat to help you pull the shoulder blades back. Now lean back into your elbows and bring your gaze up. Look at the corner, up at the ceiling. Now think of lifting through the heart. Pull the heart forward. Feel the shoulder blades pulling into towards the spine, pushing the heart open through the front of the body. Opening up through the shoulders. Then release, softening through the shoulders. Bend your knees, bring your toes to the top of the mat, and roll all the way back. All the way back. Walk your heels towards your hips. Get a sense that your ankles are underneath your knees. Now walk your feet as wide as the mat. You can feel the right edge of the mat under your right foot, the left edge of the mat under your left foot. Arms out to the sides in line with your shoulders. Rest on the back of your hands and palms open. Just relax your hands, let your arms feel heavy, soften through the shoulders. Even tuck your shoulders underneath you ever so slightly so you feel really open through the front of your body. Take a breath. And as you exhale, spread your toes so you've engaged through the ankles and roll onto the inside edge of your right foot, outside edge of your left foot as your knees fall to the left. Feel the long stretch on the right side of the body here, from your knee to your armpit. And then slowly roll your head to the right. Be with your breath. Feel how spent you are after being a warrior. How much energy that takes. The strength for courage and bravery. Brave enough to take that big step. Bring your head back to center. Now use the edges of your feet, press into the mat. Remember your toes are spread wide to keep the ankles strong. And bring your knees to center. Take a breath. As you exhale, just relax your feet, relax the lower back, sink into the mat with your exhalation. Lift your toes, spread them wide, engaging through the ankles. Breath in. And with your deep exhalation, roll onto the inside edge of your left foot, outside edge of your right foot as your knees fall to the right. Head rolls to the left. Feel the long stretch on the left side of your body from your knee to your armpit. Close your eyes and breathe in the softness. With your toes spread, keep the ankles safe and strong. Press into the mat with the inside edge of your left foot, outside edge of your right foot. Simultaneously, knees come to center, head comes to center. Walk your feet in. Get a sense your ankles are underneath your knees once again. Bring your right ankle to your left knee. And just spread your toes once again to keep your ankles strong. And use the pressure point of your ankle on your knee and your strength to push your right knee away from you. Just using your own strength. Now take both hands, reach behind your left thigh as you bring your left knee in towards you, but at the same time keep the right knee pressing away. Careful not to roll onto the outside of your right hip here. Try to stay square, keep the weight equal on the back of both hips. And release. Left foot comes to the mat and then the right. Left ankle crosses to your right knee. Toes spread on your left foot to keep your ankle strong and safe. Use your left ankle to help you use your muscle strength and push your left knee away from you. Now both hands reaching behind your right thigh this time. Keeping the weight equal on the right hip and the left hip. Aware if you happen to be rolling over to the left side a little bit more, bring yourself back. So your weight feels square on the back of your hips. And release. Take a moment to bring your knees in towards your chest and just give yourself a hug. A gentle rock from side to side if it feels like the right thing to do. And then stretch your legs out. Coming into final relaxation, Shavasana pose. Hands at your sides. Shoulder blades tucked under so your weight is resting on the back of your hands. Palms are open. Everything feels heavy. Take a couple of breaths here just to sink into the mat. Feel the softness of your body and the contradiction of the strength and concentration, the focus it took to hold that crescent warrior pose. Warrior 1. Virabhadrasana. So the myth behind the warrior poses begins with Shiva, the great god Shiva, sitting at the top of the mountain, in love with Shakti in her human form, Sati. A Sati, born to her father, Daksha. Daksha was very upset that his human daughter Sati was in love and devoted to Shiva. So he tried to keep them apart. And this enraged Shiva to the point that he rose up off the mountain, out of his meditative state, tore a dreadlock off of his head and threw it to the ground. And that dreadlock turned into Virabhadra, the warrior, rising up out of the earth to retrieve his beloved Sati, Shakti, his love of his life. Think of that warrior pose. Hands together overhead, fingers pointing up, rising up from the earth to protect his love. And that is how we came to Virabhadrasana, warrior pose. Today, warrior one. Now let go of all that ferocity. As you exhale, feel the energy release and the body softness. Body soften. The heart softens. And as the courage and ferocity dissipates, you feel the tenderness, the strength from within to feel compassion. Compassion for your adversaries. Compassion to understand the struggles of others. Compassion to defend what is right and to live with integrity, even when it's hard. That is true strength and bravery. Your next breath, just wiggle your fingers, your toes. Bring a little more movement to your arms and legs. And as you inhale, just have a little bit of a stretch. Move your body in whatever way feels good to you. Bend your knees one at a time. Gently roll onto your right side. Use your right arm to support your head and neck. Pause here for another breath. Slowly press up. Come to a seated position. Sitting tall. Hands together at the heart. Take a moment here to connect to your heart. Feel the love that's there, compassion and empathy you have for others, the courage and integrity to do the right thing, even when it's difficult. Sometimes it only takes a few minutes to acknowledge and do the right thing. And it's that few minutes, those few moments of uncomfortableness that can lead to incredible joy. Let's take a moment to be grateful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be loved. May all beings be at peace. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.